Begin.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Pat Yu, and I'm talking about urban renewal in China. In China, neologism nail house has become popular almost overnight in 2007. First spread by Chinese blogger, the photo of coolest nail household in history present a house where nails were pulled down, perched along on a 30 feet tall land downtown Chongqing, China. According to the blogger, the Chongqing Zhenshen real estate company wanted to turn the area into a 40 million pounds Broadway square, including apartment and a shopping mall. However, the villa owners refused to move because the compensations didn't satisfy them. So the developers had to dig out around the house to force them to move. Nail households are not everywhere in China, but the huge conflict between the needs for the local residents and the developers has been long existed. Chinese government overemphasized the macro economy showed by the GDP. They neglect the individual's reality. In fact, rapid urban growth has done its keeping by the expense of local residents, while the original intention was to provide a better environment for the local residents. Of urban renewal project turned to harm local people. First of all, people who live in the renewal area were forced to relocate with a little compensation. In China, governments own the real estate, developers and governments make deals, paying only 5 to 10% of benefits to the original residents. Thus, the residents are vulnerable groups, and some extremists choose to be nail household. People who refuse to make room for development. Secondly, even people who live outside the renewal area were influenced by the rise of price bonded with urban renewal, and low-income families are forced to move to more rural area because of the price. Since Chinese government blocks the information that against it, here I use an example of America. Chauncey House in Boston, Chinatown, where low-income immigrants are facing 25% rent increase after urban renewal project. Residents are forced to either live or with more people in the already crowded space, reducing life quality, or move out to the neighborhood to relatively rural areas. I looked at these problems through several frameworks. The first framework I look is the same as the Chinese government views, which is utilitarian point of view. They compare the benefits of cost. The benefits are the improvement of the economy, and the cost are the harms on the local residents. Researchers show that urban renewals create jobs, and cities after urban renewal project have ability to attract investment, which increase GDP. But only 20.8% of the population lives in the area, and not all of them need to be relocated. Therefore, under the attraction of rapid development of China, Chinese government will agree to keep the project going despite of negligible cost. However, libertarian caring more about individual happiness will argue to stop this mode of urban renewal. The cost of urban renewal is mostly forcing residents to move to rural areas so that property developers can rebuild the building. Although some residents are not moved by force, they're moved by the affordable prices after the urban renewal. From a Christian perspective, by using the Imago Dei, we are all made in God's image, and Bible said God created man in His own image, and in the image of God He created them. Therefore, we should treat equally and with no sacrifice on minority.
And yeah. Okay, you keep going now.
Okay. And I find Communist Party has the same goal as it in Bible. The final goal of communists are also to reach commonwealth and equality. However, developing without considering the negative effects oppose the communist idea. I argue Chinese government to consider urban renewal through other frameworks like I mentioned, and to have better ways of urban renewal going to a sustainable development.
Thank you.